had a detail, and that he was now the way that he has led this state and been a.
Thank you. Thanks, Colonel. I know that you all have been. We're going to roll out for the new budget. The governor to take time to meet with all of our department heads. What we ought to be doing as we go forward into the next fiscal fashion to, in fact, review, commit. You know, under our Constitution, required, in fact, to make a recommendation on budget for it. We've in a fiscal $1 billion forward, and I'm going to lay that out here in just a minute, which are kind of on my mind. And today is December 7th. We as Utahns join with all Americans Day of Infamy in Pearl Harbor when it was recognize the sacrifice of our. That is as far as we need to be. We've been invited to participate in the ceremony today. Spencer Cox taking time to do that, and again, in the military and for the good work that they do in our Salt Lake City Highway. And when it comes to men and women in our law enforcement, who is our top cop, our top law from that office, municipalities, our sheriff's departments, their service and their sacrifice. Saw the ultimate sacrifice with Trooper Ellsworth. Challenging times we live in. Express our appreciation to our Highway Patrol and those who serve. Nice to be here. We're going to talk a little bit about doing as a state government to fund dollars more efficiently and effectively. Let me recognize my where's Phil in the back there. Different department heads and agents by Chris and Phil, and they've communications director. A lot of you in the media know. Grateful to have all of my. Let me budget now specifically. Together the budget just kind of, but there's also it helps us have better outcomes when you get it, if you don't have it already. Track, it takes some of the emotion out of it. Forefront, we think we're going to get it. Economic growth and development should be economy in America, and we want to make sure we ability to be a healthy economic and make sure that we put money where we get the best return. We do have a balance. In fact, don't take in. We are very cognizant of debt. It was recognized here in this office and a nationwide gathering. Senator Lyle Hilliard, where they said Utah for Utah. So we understand, I think that's an important principle that we've lived by here. We also want to make sure that people recognize, but we believe that government should be darned efficient. Have government be more effective and more efficient. There's not the competitive pressures that you have, and so we need to push ourselves to find dollars, be addressing root causes and not. And if we have challenges out there, problems, and see which will in fact take care of the symptoms of what we've done. Then now today is 16.1 in the current. That comes about with, in fact, debt. We're not asking for any addition to build or fund for authorization of up to the prison move. Beginning now on the prison site. We don't know how much. We may need to use some or all. In fact, move ahead. Our consensus, the good news, we do this right in Utah. we have a same, so our consensus revenue in 18 are $287 million, $100 million less than last year. It's $287 million of ongoing revenue, of one-time production purposes, one pay for ongoing needs, Washington, D.C. It's worth of the new towards education. So near education, which has been mine and the legislature is seeing forward. Debt by about $289 million, and that which means that we've now cumulatively paid down about one. So we're getting even, and as we move forward here, I would suggest the legislature to consider as a rational, reasonable, responsible approach to the money, and will be that we currently have enjoyed here in the past forward into the future. Important for Utah state government. I think that's just reason, and a little more spending will be taking place. I believe as a state we need to be very wise in how we spend the tax. And so we believe in the taxpayers' dollars because it doesn't show up in the budget. When we save money, it is of note. Today, you have to go back to the year 2001 to find a few. The ratio from one state employee for 150. That's $91 million that we save annually, as would have been proportional. Also, you'll find that we've saved about $100 by finding increased efficiencies in the 2.5 years ago. Again, we had, and we talked in terms of what can we do to find more 5% more efficiency over that next December 2006, 5% more efficiency. Done that with what we call the success program for our systems out there that still are 25%, as known as 26.7%. So again, we're saving taxpayers' dollars, we're stretching those dollars, we're getting better results that come with our agencies and really being directed out of our office. Things don't show up in the budget, but it means that we're having to extract safety. We're here not only to honor our that they do and acknowledge their service and their sacrifice of one of our departments, our agencies that actually have improved. For example, in Salt Lake County, they're saving significant time, which allows to be doing in protecting the hours instead of just arrest 200 more impaired influence stops than they did in the previous year. Results in is a 26 2000, which means we're taking the troopers are spending more time protecting the public and the kind of efficiency that at least we see here today our state in different departments. We want to, in fact, for our Utah Highway Patrol movement of officers through their career, some additional body cam, evidence management. Again, $0.6 million, creating a career ladder, which has never been. And we're also putting about $6 out for a board of pardons and parole, electronic record system to help us track progress and their whereabouts. The math, not just about the numbers. This is about, and this is doing. We have more timely information. Just the health of their newborn babies, bloom, all those things now, and effect. Again, taking for you to in fact go out there and get your permits by about 50%. Or people are looking for food stamps. taken and shrunk the time now in 14 days, 2 weeks, when it used to finding it down to 4 minutes. And access program pressures for government service be recognized as the best managed state. Some specifics on some other parts of the budget. Number one budget priority is that economically, we need to have a global marketplace. And the marketplace is, but it certainly is doable, and we need to put our efforts toward resources and putting $1 billion over the next 5 years, and putting an additional 275 that we will have approximately 420 yet to go, and 100 above. In fact, the pace necessary, as I've mentioned already, 79% of all the new money that's coming in with our we've all aspirational as an education effort. This is not on the journey. And 900 million. So whatever trough we're in, we've now and putting resources at our percent. If we were at 90, we'd be number one in the nation. The test scores have improved dramatically in, we call them, and our dropout rate is 13. Our minority scores are up by 17%, which means I feel very comfortable and confident in the number one education system in America. Now, we're putting the finishing touches. Tammy Pfeiffer, Education Director. 10-year plan in place will help us focus, help us unite the controversy that we've had in times past, and see if. So our budget, $256 million in that money. It's really areas in the means that in state generated will be over 4.4 to a record number. 55, we recognize there's still some areas there that we have. Dave Bueller and some gaps there. There's some growth pressures there that we're not going to spend more than we have. We need to do some more work with higher education session. Issues with the public. We have larger family sizes. Context, if we spent just the same amount of money sizes as we have on the states to the larger family sizes, not what it is, and something that we at least acknowledge high birth rate, and because of life and for economic opportunity, flatlined, some 10,900 and 850. We pay for those today's budget. That's from today. And by the way, it's like a city the size of Santaquin. So the growth pressure, but it's addressed in our budget. Teachers, in fact, dip into their own pocket and walk classrooms. And we also are putting 4% increase in our schools, and again, you've heard me say this before, but I believe that those closest to the people understand their issues. Salt Lake City to the money. And can spend the money as they see a need. If they want to put that into technology, by hiring more teachers, at risk, early, best effectively spend that money. Aspect of this budget. Education, we're putting $26.3 million in for $1 in for scholarships and special needs of dollars into the budget for higher education for what we call professional institutions, which are money to help fund those. An exhaustive list, some of the highlights, and some of the issues that we're going to continue to fight for education dollars correctly, and again, set as a goal to be. It's going to take more collaboration, more cooperation of doing that. Let me just one, and when we are the third or fourth structure needs the growth, very, in fact, build a transportation system, whether it's mass bus rapid transportation and road maintenance here, just to kind of keep up with the what's coming out of the general fund dollars, as which has been modified, and we'll have about 500 tax increase. So infrastructure, our business community has let us know that really is a key issue is going to be doing on water. We already have is the only limiting factor to the growth of the state. Again, water conservation is key. You all know conservation do in the state when it comes to water, but we're also putting in quality and water. Know what we're doing when it comes to water. $1 million to collect water use data for conservation water. We have our water buffaloes out there, in fact, are on top to go forward. And last but not least, it's something that we've, and when I say we see that in spite of the fact we've had about a 30%, we've been able to our pollution by about 30% increase, and yet a 30% reduction overall in commercial. We still have challenges with tailpipe emissions, shared responsibility as we go forward, but we are putting money, $1 million to further our air quality monitoring, so we know what the. We've put $250,000, and we also have put in our budget. Will come from the Volkswagen settlement that will receive that money in the fiscal year 2000. Continue moving in the right direction. We should feel good about what we've accomplished to do when it comes to the air quality issues and environmental concerns and other parts of our. Gives you an overview of what we're doing. I think our budget adheres to good principles, to having a healthy, growing. It invests in people, particularly our young. And again, our investments are very strategic in where we're putting our money. Budget, it's rational, it's responsible in how they spend their money as we find more effective. Continue as a family. With that, have any questions you'd like to ask? Lisa.